Good afternoon, members of the media. This press conference is called this afternoon to give you an update on the dock situation. Let me just go back and give you just a brief history from November 27, 2012. On November 27, 2012, the Poor Works Division of the BIU received a correspondence from management to say that as of December the 12th, they were going to affect layoffs. In addition to that, since we've been having a number of discussions about hours of work, the men have said, well, if the overtime situation, if our guaranteed hours of work or normal hours of work is going to be in jeopardy, then what they will do is suspend overtime in order to protect the 37.5-hour work week. So on December the 3rd, that's exactly what they did. They issued a notice to State Running Services as of December the 3rd. They will issue 5 days notice in writing in accordance to the CBA to suspend overtime in relationship to the normal 37.5-hour work week. On November the 12th, 2012, the Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry then, the Honorable Patrice Miners, was able to get an injunction against State Running Services from instituting the layoff as of December the 12th, and that was as a result of a letter that she sent out on December 7th saying that the matter has been referred to arbitration. Based on that, the workers decided on December the 11th to lift the suspension of overtime because the matter had been referred to arbitration. Once the minister got the injunction on the 12th of December to say that State Running Service could no longer affect the layoff, and from our point of view, we understood that State Running Service was going to go and try to get the injunction lifted. We heard nothing, and I'm saying to you, we heard absolutely nothing until last week, Thursday, which was January 3rd, when the divisional officer was called up to State Running Services office to tell them that the injunction was lifted, and it was lifted on the 19th of December 2012, which was 2 days after the general election. General election was held on the 17th. 2 days after that, I understand the injunction was lifted, right? Now, my understanding from the Labor Department, particularly Glenn Fabler, is that, when the minister got the injunction in the first place, she got it under the Trade Disputes Act to send the matter to arbitration. Because the docks is an essential service, when State Running Service made the application to get the injunction lifted, they got it lifted based on the injunction was granted under the wrong section. So the injunction was lifted based on that. So the management decided that they had a meeting with the executives on Thursday, the 3rd of January. They informed them, and they sent out a memo, gave a memo to them, and they also passed out a memo to all the staff on the 3rd of January to say that as of the 7th of January, layoffs will be effective. Now, let me just remind members of the public and the media is that under normal custom and practice, that when a matter has been referred to arbitration, both parties' positions should stay as normal. One of the reasons for that, and the survey is being that in order for the arbitration process to take place, they have to know that everything has been calm. Based on that, the Poor Works Division lifted their suspension of overtime on December 11th. But the employer is now saying that even though the matter might have been referred to the wrong section on the arbitration, their layoffs is going to start as of today, which will be January the 7th. That's the memo that all the staff got last week, Thursday. Having said that, I met with the Poor Works Division of the BIU this morning for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And the decision of the division this morning, if management is going to look at implementing layoff as of today, which will seriously affect their income and the support for their families, will seriously affect sick benefits, will seriously affect vacation benefits, and as a result of that, the Poor Works Division of the BIU met this morning and have taken the decision that the State Running Service is going to start laying workers off as of today, January 7, 2013, before the arbitration process takes place. Then they have been left with no choice but to withdraw their labor today because of the serious impact that this layoff will have on them financially. With that, I'll entertain any questions that you might have.
When you say withdraw labor, what does that mean?
It means they're not working.
That's not a strike.
They're not working.
And so when you say layoffs as of today, did they indicate how many layoffs? Like, did somebody get notice that they'll be laid off as of today, and for how long?
Basically, what the management had requested was a gang structure and a number of men for today, which is probably what would normally happen, but the management requested the amount of men that they needed for the entire week, right? And the challenge was always going to be is that how many people are going to be laid off? Well, I guess based on if they needed, so many foremen, so many dockmen, so many homemen, then if anybody left, anybody who was left was going to be laid off. That was going to be their intention this morning. But before they got a chance to find out exactly whether there was going to be anybody left over and then somebody was going to be sent in, we had that meeting this morning and the works decided about what they're not turning to. So they couldn't affect our layoff today.
So withdrawing labor until?
Well, they have withdrawn labor until this matter goes to arbitration and gets resolved.
Have you had any communications with Stephen?
I have not had any communications with Stephen Services. Brother Cox, the president of the division, has had communications with management, and he has communicated that to me. He has communicated that to me. Well, the only communication that they had, I think, when I got back here to the BIU at about 11:15, I got a text from Brother Cox to say that Mr. Castle wanted to know whether or not what happened with the meeting this morning because he needs to inform the agents about where they stand. I told Brother Cox what he can do is contact Mr. Castle, let him know the decision that was taken by the membership this morning. Since which I understand Mr. Castle, as the operations manager, has been on, I think the assistant general manager, has been on to the docks to have a meeting with Brother Cox and certain members of the committee to, I guess, find out what the original position is, and they have told him what the position is. No different than what he told him later on this morning at about 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Unionized board workers, please?
It's interesting. I want to say it's 40 now. And there's communication in writing where that number should be 44, but it's been as low as 35. So it's been fluctuating. They've hired, I think, about 3 or 4 workers over the past 3 to 5 months.
So that meeting this morning was what time?
The meeting this morning started at 9 o'clock.
And so as of what time did they down?
Right after I left the meeting, which would have been about 10:30, 11.
So is there a vote in now?
It's the early under is input.
And it came in yesterday?
It arrived this morning.
So what that means?
It's on its winter schedule.
Spell it out for me, please?
Spell it out for you. The bill will sit there until this matter is resolved.
Nothing's moved.
Nothing's moved.
I don't understand that right.
So, Mr. President, given that we have had no discussions apart from with the Stephen Services, this can be described as a standard.
Well, Mr. Webb, I think that you could probably look at it that way. I kind of thought that before now, whether it was the government, the new OBA government, or the Labor Department, somebody by now would have reached out to the BIU and say, or Stephen Service, we need to have a meeting, guys, amongst the minds to see whether maybe you can get this matter resolved. It's now 3:15 in the afternoon. And no one, to my knowledge, has contacted me by email, by cell phone, or by the BIU phone to say, let's sit down and have a conversation. I think the president even suggested to Mr. Castle that you might want to give Mr. Frebber a call. Nobody's called me. Nobody's called. So, in the end, people are going to look at the BIU as the heavy. The public's going to, have their opinion about what's taking place. But where's the responsible people right now? Where are they? Because they're going to call us irresponsible, but where's the people that should be having dialogue with us about what's taking place to get things back to normal? Where are they too?
So ideally, would you say this is the first labor test for the new government? And what
It is the first labor. It is the first test for them. When you think that they only were elected on the 17th of December, and that left 14 days left in December, and we're now just a week into January 2013. So they got about 3 weeks of being in power, in control.
But Bermuda has clearly defined trade dispute legislation. What are you saying? They're just defining the law?
Who's defined the law?
The management, right? Not
Well, and as you've heard me say from time to time, and let me just repeat it again, it would appear that there's only laws for the employees and no laws for the employers. And I always said that we need to have a law across the board that's for employers and for employees, so that when somebody is going in the wrong direction, somebody could tell them, whether it's the union or whether it's the employer, I'm sorry, but you got that wrong. You not got it correct.
Practice.
Well, Mr. Marino, let me say this to you. I think the way how I spell good faith, they might spell it a different way, and I say that to you respectfully, because we've been trying to work with the management team now for the better part of 3 years, right? And if I can use last week Thursday as an example, whilst the Poor Workers Divisional Committee was upstairs or On the way upstairs last week, Thursday, the management team was sending out this memorandum to our members. Totally disrespectful. Why not wait till the meeting's finished and then say, as a result of the meeting we had a few moments ago, now you hand out the documentation. So when you talk about good faith, they don't know how to spell the word good faith. That's my position as relates to Mr. Peter Owens as the CEO down there and Mr. Castle as the assistant operations manager. They ain't got a clue about good faith. Conciliatory return towards Stephen service. Well, Mr. Webb, when I look at what my members at the Poor Works Division have done for the past 3.5, 4 years with Stephen services, we've already done that. We've gone over and beyond that. We have not so much the people at the garage, not so much the people that work in the OTR, but the guys that work out the hole. That's mainly the foreman, the dockman, and the hillman. For the last 3.5 years, have been on a 4-day work week when it's a 2-boat week. So we've been doing what we can to try to work with management through these issues. We've asked Mr. Owens and his team on a number of occasions, let's see if we can build a much better working relationship. And no matter how many times we ask for this kind of stuff to take place, it appears that when they get the bull by the horns to go left, they're going left, and nobody's going to tell them back the other way. So the BIU is willing to sit down and work with our social partners, but we're not here to be taken advantage of. I made that point crystal clear. We're to work with you, but when you start taking advantage of us, then you're going to see another side of us. And look at the BIU over the past almost 5 to 10 years now. Look at it. Our members have accused us of not being as proactive as we used to be. Why? Because we've been trying to work with employers. And we'll be getting the short end of the stick from our members for a while now, For a while now. That's since before Brother Derek left. And since for these 6 years a bit that I've been here. So we've been trying to do all of that. Wage freezes in hotels, layoffs in certain other areas. All this kind of stuff has been happening over the past 3 to 5 years. So we've been doing what we can to work with our social partner. So when they talk about BI, you don't understand business and all that kind of stuff, I say to those people, don't be naive, They're the ones being naive, not me. I'm not being naive. I know exactly what I need to do and why I need to do it. And I'll have no problem telling my members, you're going the wrong way, I'll tell them you need to go the other way. No, it's still their choice in the end if they still want to go the other way, But I will advise them as the leader from time to time which direction I think they should go. But it's still their choice as to if they want to go another direction.
Mr. Philbert, Mr. Peter Ovich, the CEO and General Manager of Stevedoring Services, has issued a statement saying that the BIU held an unscheduled meeting this morning and workers have not returned to work, and the company views this action short of a strike in an essential service as per the Labor Relations Act 1975, and the company intends to reach out to the minister. How do you respond to that?
Well, Mr. Moreno, let me say this to you, right? I am not surprised that Mr. Ulrich put that statement out. Mr. Ulrich appears to be stuck on this issue of a regular industrial action to show a strike. If I tell you today, or when I looked at some of the correspondence that Mr. Ulrich has been sending out since December 6, 2012, that this current action, meaning the suspension of overtime by the Poor Works Division of the BIU, Mr. Otis has also got some legal advice, and they have declared that a regular industrial action short of a strike. So what they're saying is that the workers in the country right now has no more rights. If the employer wants you to work 80 hours a week, $100 a week, you should be there at their beck and call. Forget about your normal hours of 35, 37, half or 40. What they're saying is that, so I am, once again, not surprised that he's taken that statement. Not surprised. This might be the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to say might be. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. What I try to do for my members is, do what we need to do on a daily basis, and then try to think about what may happen tomorrow. But we don't have a crystal ball to predict what's going to happen. So we have to just take one day at a time and do what we need to do on behalf of our members.
How many BIU represented government departments, their contracts are up for negotiation this year or expire for renewal this year?
Well, the 1,200 members that we represent for government, remember now, for the whole of 2012, they never had an increase, right? They talked about this 8% thing that never went off the ground. So our workers, our members in government, which is about 1,200, haven't had no sort of increase in 2012.
So what kind of a situation do you see this creating in terms of negotiations going forward, particularly with the government?
Well, I think my understanding of what happened under the PLP government, I don't know what's going to happen under the UAB government, but recognizing that the the government had a shortage of revenues based on, them giving exempt from payroll tax for the hotel employers, the retail sector, as well as other things they were doing to try to, keep people gainfully employed. The government revenues were down, so they came to the unions for assistance, and we were trying to do what we can to assist. So if the ABA comes with a similar sort of approach, I see no reason why the unions would sit down, have a conversation with their members, and then get back to the ABA with a response.
Have they reached out to the union? I know Mr. Fay, when I interviewed him, when he was announced as the minister responsible for labor, he indicated that he would be reaching out to the union to sit down and have a discussion as to the way forward, given the current economic climate. Has that in fact happened?
Well, I can't speak on behalf of any other union. As I say from time to time, I'm the spokesperson for the BIU. Mr. Fay, PS, did reach out to me probably last week sometime to say that the minister would like to have a meeting with you Wednesday the 9th at 12 o'clock, right? Because we've been having monthly meetings with the outgoing minister, Patrice Minus, for the past almost 15 months now. Every month we've been meeting the second or the third Wednesday every month to have dialogue with the minister. So I'm glad to hear Mr. Fay say that it's looking to work with labor, but you need to stay tuned because there's some other things coming. Can't give them to you right now, but as soon as I am clear, you will hear more about what Mr. Fay's whole intention is about for labor.
Good intentions of that.
What I can tell you, stay tuned.
So you had to put a word on this. It's down to,
Put a word on this?
like on this action. It's down to, but they're saying the other side is short of a strike. So if you had
The workers, Ms. Bal Ciola, Ms. Wilson, are very frustrated at management, right? What they don't understand is that, the minister, the outgoing minister, referred the matter to arbitration for this matter to be settled. Based on that, in good faith, that's what I said to Mr. Moreno a few minutes ago. In good faith, the workers lifted the suspension of overtime. In good faith, management is going in the other direction. So that's why I'm telling you, they don't know how to spell good faith. So when you talk about, I'm not going to give you a definition of what's happening. What members see is that their income is going to be seriously impacted by what the employer is trying to do to them. The vacation pay, the sick pay, all this kind of stuff is going to be affected by, and this is a serious shift from where they've presently been for the past 30 or 40 years to now going to a whole new arena altogether. So for me to give you one word to describe exactly what's taking place today, I can't give you one word to describe it. I can't.